friends, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about my favorite books of 2022. Okay, so in no particular order, in no particular order, we're just gonna go through the big stack on my lap here and talk about my favorite books, why I love them, why I think you should love them, and let's go through them. The first couple we're gonna talk about are my favorite graphic novels. So I read a lot of graphic novels this year, as you guys know if you've watched any of my wrap-ups, and these were my top 3. They were so good. They were so memorable. A lot of them were just heartwarming and cute and just ones in the series that I want to keep reading. So the first one is Wingbearer by Marjorie Liu. This is a middle grade about a girl named Zilu. And basically she gets swept up into this whole adventure where she's trying to figure out her origin of her birth, and there's just amazing art in here. The art for me is my favorite part. It just looks like a show. I don't know if this actually even is a show. I don't think it is. I think I looked, but just the art in it is so beautiful. The cast of characters is so good. I read this pretty early on in the beginning of the year and I really, really loved it. I really want to keep going in the series and I really hope it continues because I loved it. Next, just a really cute, this had Heartstopper vibes to me, which I love, and this was just adorable. So this is Chef's Kiss by Jarrett Melendez. This is Chef's Kiss by Jarrett Melendez, and this is just, again, so cute. It's about a guy who basically is an English graduate and goes to work in a restaurant to make some money on the side till he tries to get his, real job after college, and he ends up meeting a guy. They fall in love. There's a whole thing. I think, again, I don't know if this is going to become a series. I really hope that it does. It's so cute. I loved it, and it's just one of those little slice of life books about friends and growing up, and it was just so cute. Another graphic novel that I really want to continue the series in is True Beauty. I really enjoyed this. This is about a girl who essentially is leading a double life where she learns how to do makeup and basically becomes and transformed into this beautiful girl, and then when she takes her makeup off, people don't even recognize her. She looks so different. And yeah, her and this guy and their dynamic, it's just really sweet. It's really cute. I really want to keep reading in this when they publish more. I know it's a webtoon, but I love physical copies. So yeah, I think this is really cute and I really, really enjoyed it. Okay, now let's talk about some middle grade. So as you guys know as well, I love reading middle grade. Just some of my favorite things. I plan on doing middle grade March again, as always, every year. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys think I should check out. But some of the ones that I read, this I did read through middle grade March and I loved it. This is The Circus of Stolen Dreams by Lorelei Salverin. This is about a girl who loses her brother, and she basically one night stumbles across this city or this circus that's run by the Sandman, I think. Yeah, and it's a place that's called Reverie, and it's this really cool circus where all of these tents, you can do all of these crazy things. It's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of creepy in certain aspects, but just so good. It almost has a Coraline feel to it, is that kind of way. But yeah, overall, really, really great story. Really, really enjoyed it. Okay, for my favorite, I think, middle grade series, and I really wish they'd continue in it. I wish they would. But this is The Skyborn. I read books 2 and 3 that came out by Jessica Cowrie. I love this series. It's about a girl named Ellie Meadows, who basically in the first book wants to become part of the guardian leaders in her world. All of the people in this world are basically born with wings. They can fly. They're broken up into different clans. And she is a sparrow, and sparrows typically are never cast as the leaders in the city, in this organization. So basically all this stuff starts to unfold. Evil comes out to play, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really wish this would have been a longer series. I would have loved to read more. I do feel like things wrapped up a little too quickly for me in the 3rd book. It kind of all came to a head super fast in the last maybe 150 pages, and I think she could have broadened this series out for infinite books. It was so good. But yeah, highly recommend it if you guys haven't checked it out. It's fantastic. Okay, Now, let's talk about a little romance. So again, I think I mentioned in another video, I'm trying to get back into my romance a little bit. I had a couple years where I was like not picking it up at all, and I've kind of started to dip my toe back in the water a little bit. But two of my favorite things I read, as you guys know, beginning of this year, I read the entire Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn, which I really enjoyed. This, hands down, though, was my favorite, which is To Sir Philip with Love, which is Eloise's story. I love Eloise in the show. I loved Eloise in the book. The dynamic between her and Philip was so good. This is, I feel like, where the series really started to pick up, and I really enjoyed the second half of this series with the younger siblings. It's getting a little bit more steamy. It's good. It's memorable, whereas some of the other stories kind of blurred into each other or didn't stand out as much, but I liked this. Oh, I liked this so much. It was good. Okay, and speaking of getting a little steamy, this is Second Star to the Left by Megan Van Dyke. This is like a retelling spin-off of Peter Pan following Tinkerbell and Captain Hook, who get it on, is basically what it is. It's like but the storyline of it actually is really good. There are definitely some steamy moments though, but I liked it a lot. She's got other books in this like fairy tale-esque series. I think there's one following Cinderella's stepsister that I really want to try and read. It's pretty good. I didn't think I was gonna like this. I think I read it in like 2 sittings. Quite enjoy. Okay, and let's end with some fantasy. So I read some pretty solid fantasy this year, particularly in the Asian author department, both of which I think are debut authors. Highly recommend. This, of course, is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. This is just such an epic fantasy. It's so good. I cannot wait. I have the second one. We're going to read it next year. It's going to be good. But this is essentially following the daughter of the moon goddess, and the daughter is set off on a mission to save her mother, who has been banished on the moon. It's just so good. There's so much that happens. The love interests are amazing. She's such a badass. It's got like Mulan vibes in it of just like her making and taking her own power. I just really like this. It's memorable. I read it at the beginning of the year. It's still one of those that sits with me, and I loved it. I cannot wait to read the second one. Next, we have another beautiful book. This is the UK cover of The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. This is a Hayao Miyazaki movie that needs to be made immediately. It reads and is visually so much like those types of movies. I couldn't handle it. It's so good. It's so good. I loved this. Again, this is one of those stories that just sits with you and you can just visualize it when you're reading it. The characters are so dynamic and good, and I just loved it so much. It's so good. One of my favorites that I read this year, definitely in the top 3. Fantastic. Okay, for the last 2, these are definitely within, I think, we're definitely in the like top 5 of my favorite things that I read this year. I don't actually know if I have a favorite of the books that I read this year. I don't know if I have a top like this is the best thing that I read this year, but actually, is this my favorite? We'll save that for last. Okay, this is one of my favorites, not the favorite, but this is so good. This is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I also read ACOTAR this year. I started the series. I'm in the world. I'm invested. We're going to finish the series next year. But this, of course, follows Farah, who is a human that essentially gets wrapped up and swept up into the Fae world through actions that happen in the first book. This obviously is a sequel, so I won't spoil it for people that haven't read it, but this is such an epic fantasy. It just draws you in. It reads a little bit like a CW book. I'm not gonna lie, like a Cassandra Clare, like pretty people doing badass things and breaking down doors and doing all this cool stuff. Everyone in this book is pretty. It kind of just is what it is. You know what you're reading when you get into something like this. But yeah, overall, I liked it. It sucks you in. It's one of those books you really can't put down, and I just really enjoyed it. And I can't wait to finish the series. I think it's just going to be great. And it left on such a cliffhanger. I need to know where this is going to go next. Okay, let's talk about it. In an unexpected plot twist, my favorite book, I think, of 2022, The Legend of Holly Claus by Brittany Ryan. This book is so good. It's so good. It's so magical. It's so Christmassy. It's so beautiful. It reads like a movie. You can visualize it. The illustrations are gorgeous. It's just so heartwarming and good and beautiful. And it just, I had to read this slowly because I just was enjoying it so much. I didn't want it to end. And it's not a short book. Granted, the print is massive and it reads quickly, but it's just so, so good. It's about a girl who is the daughter of Santa Claus, who basically through a wish of a boy is made into existence with Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And they live in this land called the Land of Immortals, where basically for the good things that you do on Earth, you are then sent to live in this magical land with like fairies and warlocks and centaurs, and like, it's so cool. There's talking animals. Her friends are so cute. She just has like all these little companions that you can see here that like are her friends, and like they're just so cute, and the love is cute. It's a little insta-lovey for me, I will say, in terms of the relationship, which is a little unfortunate. And the last half of the book, everything just wraps up so quickly for how much world building is in the first like 2/3 of this book. But yeah, overall, it's just so cute and beautiful, and I loved it so much. It's so good. It's so good. If you need a festive book to read next Christmas, please pick this up. It's great. So good. All right, friends. That's it. Those are the top, I think, 10 or 11 books that I read. My favorites for 2022. This year was a crazy year for a lot of different reasons, but my reading overall was fine. I wasn't so in love with a majority of the things that I read, but some of this stuff, like this list of books here, top shelf, highly recommend, 10 out of 10. But yeah, overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did like it. Subscribe to see more of my face, and let me know what your favorite book was down in the comments below for 2022, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!